Cavs obviously they're always gonna get back right. They're just way too good to stay where they were.
Well, I didn't think that they would. I didn't think that they would sink to the bottom of the East. Let's not.
You got off of them as your title pick.
Okay, I did not. That's not true. You tried to get me off of them. Okay.
And then he doubled down. He did.
Okay, you tried to get me off.
I tried to.
Yeah,
I was the one trying to keep you on the train.
No, you were not. It was you. It was when I asked. It was you and Real Talk up here asking me if they didn't win it.
Oh no, you think they're winning the title?
Yes.
You still think they're winning the title?
I'm still on that. Yes.
But is that because of pride or basketball?
Not pride. No, it's not about pride. I said that.
But what basketball reason do you have to think they're going to win the NBA championship this year?
Well, one, the way that they play suggests that they can win the NBA championship. The way that they knock down the long ball,
they're not a better shooter or offense than teams.
So what? And neither was the Oklahoma City Thunder. No, Oklahoma City shot the long ball.
The greatest defense we've ever seen.
Yeah, they had one of the greatest defenses that we've ever seen. 100%. But you just brought up the long ball. They shot in the middle. They shot in the middle of the pack last year with the long ball, and they had
no, they didn't.
I think they were 16th last year in the league. I think they were 16th last year. So, yes, they did.
But that's why you win the championship, Swiper. The playoffs.
I don't know if you know that.
You know you're referencing.
But anyway, back to
we're doing at the Cleveland offense.
Anyway, back to Swiper. To your point, because you asked me about Cleveland. So I think that the way that they shoot in the basketball, it's gotten much better. I don't like the turnovers. I think that's something that they can clean up. Defensively, they can be better, and I think that they will be better because they've shown me that they can play championship.
Cleveland's not even a top 10 shooting team in the NBA this year.
But they're a top 10 offense. How about that for an idea? Since you want to bring up numbers, they're 100% a top 10 offense.
I mean, yeah, they're like 6.
It's still top 10.
OKC's ahead of them. The Rockets are ahead of them. The Knicks and Boston and Denver are ahead of them.
100%. But they're still a top 10 offense. They don't have to be the best.
So they're going to face. They're going to face Denver. They're going to face New York. They're going to face maybe Houston. They're going to face OKC.
And when they face,
they all have better offenses.
You really think Houston has a better offense than them? Take out Steven Adams' crazy offensive rebounds.
I mean, that's what they do.
They do not have a better offense.
We're not talking about Houston right now.
They're probably off that train now with Steven Adams gone.
We're not talking about Houston right now. And anyway, I mean, why am I when I talk about Cleveland? It's almost like when I talk about Cleveland, I talk about Donovan Mitchell. I'm ridiculous when I talk about these guys, but when other people talk about other teams, it's like, these guys got a shot.
Why you think they're going to win the title? I'm not even trying to argue.
I'm explaining to you why I think that they're going to win the title. When I tell you that they have a top 10 offense, they're not one of the best shooting teams in the league. Okay, they still have a top 10 offense. It's not just because you shoot. That's not it. It's not just because.
But I'm saying, they're trying to out offense some of these teams. They're going to get out offense though. I think that's going to be the problem.
And I don't think that that's going to be the problem. The reason why I don't think that's going to be the problem because I think that with Donovan Mitchell averaging what Donovan Mitchell averages and being the offensive player that he is, I think that he can overcome in the playoffs this year. I don't mean overall. I mean this year he can overcome some of their offensive woes. That's what I think.
But flip the question, Swiper. Why do you think they're not a championship contender?
I just don't. We've done this physicality thing with them. They have no one on their roster that is like I would describe as somebody who's a stopper, who's like physical, who can deal with pressure.
And the defensive player of the year last year. What are you doing,
Swiper? He's also not physical. I've said this to you multiple times, and I think the playoffs showed that he's also not physical. I think he won strictly because obviously we're doing this again. Victor Wembanyama got hurt. He's not in the combos this year, even if he was healthy, because obviously that's going to be Rudy or it's going to be Victor. I think some of this is they don't have a player that
is it just that?
No, I was going through the list. I was going through the list. So I don't think their offense is going to be good enough to beat most of these teams up here. I think their defense is suspect at best. I also think Donovan Mitchell scoring cool. All these other teams are going to have like SGA and Jokic and Murray and like all these other teams they're going to run into. They're really good, really scoring teams. Luka Doncic and LeBron James and Austin Reeves. Like that's going to be a lot. And then they have to defend and score those people. Like that, they're going to have to defend those teams.
Okay, so they're going to have to defend Cleveland too, just like you just talked about.
I think it's easier to defend Cleveland than it is to defend these other teams.
I don't know if you caught the segment on Tuesday.
Donovan Mitchell too.
We talked about this thing on Tuesday. It was a very brilliant segment where we talked about when you grab Mobley, he goes soft. So
I just think their team is not soft in a bad, like I don't know how else to describe it. They don't have any there's nothing about them that's aggressive or assertive. They don't have any of that. Like that's not even like if you're saying Donovan Mitchell scoring is like their assertiveness, like defensively don't have that.
And they do lack toughness, but they have shown it though. I've watched them when they played against Minnesota. When they played against Minnesota, when they punched Minnesota right in the face.
So they get in a series versus so they get in a series versus Minnesota. They get in a series versus your Minnesota Timberwolves,
which would be in the NBA championship.
Yeah, if they get in a series versus your Minnesota Timberwolves,
which would be in the NBA finals,
and your beloved Julius Randle with the big Rudy on the court, and Jaden McDaniels and all these other players.
Yes.
Like you feel comfortable, so you feel like that series. But if they, let's say they play Denver, they play Denver. So then there's Jokic and Gordon and Cam and Peyton and Christian and Murray and Valanciunas.
Mm-hmm. But by the time we get to the NBA championship, I don't think we're gonna have a physicality question. I don't, because having to go through the Eastern Conference, having to deal with the New York Knicks, having to deal with Toronto, having to deal with the Detroit Pistons, having to get through those guys, you're going to have to be tough. You're going to have to be physical. You're going to have to stand up to the fight, and you're going to have to bring the fight to a lot of these guys. And I said this to you guys a couple of days ago. Once you punch the bully in the face, and then now you have to play basketball. Once you punch the bully in the face, now you have to play basketball. Then we get to see who the better basketball team is. And Cleveland has shown throughout the course of this season, particularly this run in particular, they can, once they stand up to the bully, knock down the long ball. They actually can take care of they can take care of the basketball. They can rebound. They can play efficient offense. They can play solid defense. They can do all of these things that are comprised of a championship unit. All of those things.
I don't think we've earned the respect to be put in the same conversation as Detroit. I don't think anyone has, to be honest. I think the Detroit Pistons are in a class of their own in the Eastern Conference. Shout out to the Knicks fans who disagree. Shout out to the Raptor fans who disagree. Y'all want to pretend that you're on this level. You're not on this level. Watched a fair bit of Pistons lately. This is the team. I would be shocked if the Pistons do not come out of the Eastern Conference. Shocked.
They're only 2 games up, right?
Philadelphia can easily beat them. Philadelphia can beat Detroit
easily.
Not easily, but they can give a chance, a fighting chance.
No,
it'll go game 6.
It's weird.
The East is wide open to me. I don't know about you.
I just don't trust teams like the Pistons have shown me a sense of maturity. They're a very young team as well, but they have physicality and maturity. The switchability, the positional versatility. Kate has taken a huge step up defensively this year.
Tobias Harris
is awesome. Duncan Robinson has fit in seamlessly. I mean, this is a team talking about exceeding expectations.
Jalen Duren,
Vegas
Evan
had
Mobley and Jared Allen,
42.5.
Isaiah Stewart coming in that series.
You got him dominating him? Is that what you're saying, Swiper? You got him
dominating.
You got Jalen Duren kicking his ass.
For somebody who is as big on asserting, and I think especially interior play and rebounding as you are, I think that would be a vaunted fight for Evan Mobley and Jared Allen to stay consistently aggressive in that series versus Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. I think that would be something you would be complaining about.
They need to stay away from that matchup.
And I'm not. I'm already giving Cleveland credit. I said they were going to be a top 3 seed when they were in the rut. So this is about when you get into these series, like what is going to end up being the difference. I think some of the things with Cleveland is I don't think they can do anything to change what they are. They are who they are. They also are soft, but they're also still a really talented, really good team. I don't think you can't manifest toughness. Maybe somebody disagrees with me. I don't think you can just like overnight become a tough team or become a physical team or an aggressive team. I just don't think that's their identity. And I don't think that like if they out offense, Detroit, for instance, then yeah, maybe Detroit falls into a hole. They can't score consistently enough. Yeah. Boston, I don't know what Boston is. I have no idea if they're the second best team in the Eastern Conference. I don't think they are, but maybe they are. But just show you love like you love like the things.
You said they can't do it overnight. Yeah. Can you be influenced to become a more physical team? Like for instance, let me give you an example. Who is the most physical player in the league, or one of the most like Isaiah Stewart is a good example, right? Steven Adams, Isaiah Stewart, Mitchell Robinson. There's a lot of really physical dudes. I believe that if you add Lou Dort, I believe Dylan Brooks. If you add one of those dudes to your team, I believe there is a physicality by osmosis situation that happens where they make everybody else a little bit more physical. So maybe what the Cleveland Cavaliers really need is a Dylan Brooks. Right? And ironically, yes, Russell Westbrook guarding 1 through 5. We know.
No, not bad, but that was my point though. But go on.
No, I totally understand your point because I watched Serge Ibaka do it for the Raptors. I watched James Johnson do it for the Raptors.
Any of those teams?
He gave people like a little bit of a backbone.
I think that being tough and playing tough are two different things, right? So with the Cleveland with the Cavs, I think that they can play tough from time to time. Now, I don't think that they're a tough team. No, I don't think that they're a tough team in any aspect, but I do think that they can play tougher. I do think that they could be more physical. And I do complain about Evan Mobley's lack of physicality. I do complain about Jared Allen's lack of physicality, but they have shown me that they can be physical.
Evan has shown you the propensity to get bullied too, Joe.
Like but he's also shown me the propensity to be a bully. He's also shown me the propensity to be a paint presence, to be a glass cleaner, to be a big time rim protector and shot.
You're going to have the worst defensive.
Same thing with Jared Allen. He's also shown me that too.
That's tough. That's tough.
I think all those Eastern Conference teams, to me, it's wide open. So if any of them improve on the margins or make a big swing at the deadline, they could separate themselves very easily. That's where I'm at with it.
I keep hearing this margins conversation. I just want to. I just want to make sure that I understand exactly what are the margins. Is that the other stuff? That's the 50-50 balls. That's the offensive rebounding.
It's the extra possessions.
That's what I'm talking about. Like the 50-50
like
balls,
rebounds, steals.
That's the other stuff. That's what I was thinking about.
Reducing turnovers can be all those.
I just want to make sure that I was following you guys.
Become a big deal since OKC won the championship.
Yes. I just wanted to make sure that I was understanding what the margins were. So, all right, I got it. I'm following you guys.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the check throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoops out hit the raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.